It is leg day. Now, it's been a little while since I've done a full leg session. I've had a few little injuries that have prevented me from being able to get some really good quality leg work in, but today is the day. We're getting back under a bar and we're starting with some front squats. Now, before we get into this session, my Black Friday sale is live now. cultstrength.square.site. We have 30% off everything, all programs, all merch, wraps and straps, you name it, 30% off, and this is until Sunday, so you better be quick. That's cultstrength.square.site. But right now, baby, we got legs, we got front squats, and it's a hot day. Hope you enjoy this session as much as I did. Let's get it. And of course, welcome back to your mum's favorite channel on YouTube, Cult Strength. That's right. Now, as I said, it's leg day. We have squats. Now, it's been a little while since we've done some squatting on the channel, but the time has come. Now, as you all know, I'm very serious about my deadlifting at the moment. We're prepping for some very big competitions. Now, the front, well, not the front squat, but the squat pattern in general is extremely important when it comes to building a big deadlift, believe it or not. So for those of you who are maybe a deadlift enthusiast, but you shy away from leg day, keep in mind that if you want to maximize your deadlift, you're going to want to squat. You're going to want to build strong quads, strong hips, okay? Because remember, the first part of the deadlift is a push. You've got to have strong legs. And for me, yes, the front squat, well, I do like a front-loaded squat when it comes to, well, not when it comes to building a squat, but as I said, the deadlift is very important to me right now. So for me, you know, a front-loaded squat I find carries over the best out of all squat movements to the deadlift. So we're opting for a nice front squat, and it's been a little while since I've done a good front squat cycle. I'm talking like maybe 5 years, 6 years maybe, since I've actually done a serious front squatting cycle. And my best is 260 kilos, I think. A long time ago, but moving the old bike out of the way. Oh, she's pretty. It's just pretty. It's not the weather for it today though. It's really hot, but it's wet, it's humid. And we're using the safety squat bar as well. So we've got 65 kilos on the bar. Now, using the safety squat bar today. Now, if you're a big guy, maybe some stiff shoulders, you will know that getting into a, you know, proper front rack position for a front squat is sometimes impossible. It will take a lot of work to really get into that position, only to use this squat variation for, you know, a rather short period of time. So I like to use a, you know, a cross rack or this sort of a front rack position, whatever you want to call it. And I find with the safety bar, it just helps, you know, distribute the load a little bit differently again, because when you can't get into a proper front rack position, it is hard to do a good front squat without losing position or the bar rolling forward. We don't get that ability to have the elbows up really high like we should. Now, whew, look at that. It's very distracting for me as well, you know. It's very distracting. I'm putting her to work here. She's not very happy about it. She didn't get to the gym today, so I made her heave the 20 kilo plates up onto the bar with no warm up, but she's a strong lady. It is what it is. We do on the bar, we've got 105 kilos. It's 25 kilo bar as well. The safety bar is a 25 kilogram bar, so a little heavier than the regular bar. 2 plates on. So for me, with these front squats, now, as I said, it's been a little while since I've done them. So today, the goal is, you know, really conservative. As I said, it's been a little while since I've done some squatting even. So I typically make the mistake of coming back in a little too hot. And that's, you know, led me to some issues in the past, which is why I've had some time off squatting. So we're going to go a little slower back into it this time, but not too slow, not too slow. Do a few reps here. I think we go for 4 or 5 reps, or maybe 3. I don't know how many that was. I wasn't really watching the whole time, but nice and easy. The hard part is getting out. The bar tries to fight you, and you're going to see some true violence and some true confrontation a little later with that bar. Stepping on my toes like that, boy. 3 plates on the bar. That pump cover I'm wearing right now, we have a few left. Get to the website, cultstrength.square.site. You've got 30% off for like the next 36 hours or so, 24 hours. Just over 24 hours. That's inappropriate. That's inappropriate. Sir, How dare you? Pretty big back though. So I guess that's why you did it. Fair enough, sir. Well played to you. That's what happens, baby. When you get big, well, you can just get away with being a little bit more rude. Fortunately for me. Moving the safety slings in now. You know, just in precaution area, I guess. It doesn't go too well. They actually get in the way, as you'll see soon. Because I'm squatting quite deep today. We're getting nice and deep. Now again, as I said, I'm going rather conservative with load today, so the emphasis is for me on a really nice range of motion and getting that movement back into my body, strengthening those hips. And look at that bottom. Oh, goodness me. It makes me want to just go inside right now and have my dessert, but here I am talking to a camera. This is sacrifice. 3 plates. See there, I bottomed out on the slings, so again, I'm going to remove them for the next set because it is inhibiting my depth. I'd like to go a little deeper than that. Although that depth was fine, as I said, I'm trying to push that range of motion. Oh, and sniff it from here. Sorry, guys. 165 going on the bar now. This is going to be my last warm-up before I do my top set. So I'm going to do a top single and then some back down work. Again, emphasis on technique. It was actually, mate, it's inappropriate. Grow up, you're a child. Oh, you missed. Sucked in. What was I saying? I forget what I was saying. That's okay though. Here we are. 165 on the bar. Hit this for a little single. But we're not going crazy heavy. So we're moving, you know, with reps in reserve every single set today. The top set is, goal-wise, looking at around RPE 6 to 7. Like, quite easy. Do you know what I mean? A real nice confidence and momentum builder that I can take into obviously next week and the weeks to come. You know, I'm 12 weeks out now of my deadlift competition. It's a big qualifying event for me, so I've got to do really well there. So it was time to bring these squats back in so that I can obviously maximize my deadlift, because the deadlift has been lacking a little bit lately, and I suspect it's because I haven't been doing my squats. So now I'm doing this again, feeling confident in my deadlifts. 165. As you can see there, I take my breath and I hold it because it's kind of hard to get another breath when there's a heavy load coming down on you, whether it's a front squat or a Zercher squat. Sometimes it's easier to get the breath before the load is there and to just hold the breath if you're just doing 1 repetition. If I was doing reps and, you know, stuff like that, then obviously it's a bit different, but no need to headbutt the bar, sir. That was the violence I was talking about. Oh, look, it's Jesus. Jesus Christ. Goodness me. No, it was just really hot and I was just sweating balls and had a bit of ice on the towel earlier, so it was nice and cold. Cooling me down a little bit. God damn. So we're doing our top single now. We're loading on 185 kilos. So not a heavy top set at all, right? But it's serving its purpose. Now, we have to understand not every session's flashy, and for me it's difficult, right? Because I know I'm making content. So I'm like, fuck, who wants to watch a light squat session? But the point being is that to get good, there's certain things you have to do, and this is one of them. You have to build. You know, focus here is on perfect execution, good depth, all that business, baby. That's what we're looking at here, keeping those knees out, keeping a good shape, torso as upright as possible, loading up those quadriceps. Big brace, trying to keep those elbows up nice and high. Keeping them up as much as I can, driving them up. There we go. Nice and easy, nice and deep, very comfortable. You know, the most challenging thing there with the front squat is just having the load on front and sometimes feeling a little bit dizzy, but that's just, you know, getting used to the movement again. Now we're going to hit some back down work, some technique work. Again, nice and easy, building back in. We're going to just hit 3 plates, 145 kilos, for a couple of sets of 5 to really ingrain this technique, because not only has it been a long time since I've done some actual squatting, but front squatting again even longer. So it's just going to take me a few sessions just to coordinate everything and have everything feeling nice and smooth again. But that's life. That's with any movement that we do. And you know, the front squat is, you know, a little more challenging than most, we'll say. There's a few things that make it a little more difficult, especially the bar position. So here we go, 5 repetitions. Again, looking at perfect technique, perfect depth. Let's nice and deep. That's hamstrings on calves pretty much. There you can see the hamstring, tap the calf on the back there. That's as deep as I'm getting. You know, that's pretty deep for someone my size. That's pretty good mobility. Moving really easy. 5 reps, you know, with something I could probably do 15 with today if I had to. Wouldn't want to, it would suck, but yeah. A little man in there for the support. High five, baby, let's go. We do one more set though, one more back down set. Oh, yep. Peachy peachy, looking good. Putting a collar on. There was no collar on the last set apparently. Oops, the daisies. And, you know, again, even though it's light, it's not a lot of volume either. It doesn't have to be a lot of volume. It's dependent on the goal, right? Now, for complex movements like, you know, squats and things like that, we're moving back in. It's a high skill movement, more can go wrong. So we don't need to push the intensity super high. So again, I'm doing an easy single today and then easy sets of 5. But there's some accessory movements that I'll do after that aren't really difficult movements, don't get me wrong, but that's where I can push the intensity a little higher. Little angle here, different angle. Now you can see there's a little bit of flexion happening in the upper back, a little bit of tipping forward. So that's something I'm going to look to work on. Obviously, my levers aren't fantastic for front squats. I have really long femurs. So it makes proportionally a little bit difficult to get into a great position at the bottom. Not built for squatting, but what I can improve on is keeping a slightly more upright torso position, which is achievable. That'll help me. So little man with his bloody obsessed with skulls. Oh, hectic, bro. Scary stuff. Now, leg extensions, 2 sets here. We're gonna just finish the quads off. As I said, now, because it's been a little while since I've done legs, I don't need to train them overly hard today to get a great stimulus or what I want from it. Now, I do have a heavy deadlift session on Tuesday. I'm going down to base gym to do a session with a guy called Ollie. Now, he is a professional strongman from England, under 105 kilogram weight class, I think. And he's got some heavy deadlifts as well. So we're gonna get a session in for YouTube, so that's gonna be really exciting. I'm doing deficit work, he's doing regular deadlift work. So we're both hitting around 330 kilograms upwards for reps. So here we're looking at a slow tempo, as you can see. Now weight's relatively light, so what I'm doing here is slowing it down, holding the contraction at the top for 1 second, and a nice 3 to 4 second eccentric tempo on the way down. Eccentric, so nice little burner. And the second set I'll push a little bit harder all the way to failure, just to make sure that I'm getting everything that I can out of this while still keeping the overall volume relatively low. Therefore, relative fatigue will also be quite low, meaning it won't really affect my deadlift session. So there's a bit of complexity to this in the sense that I also need to make sure that I'm not squatting too heavy that it interferes with my deadlifting. That's the issue you can have, is that if I was prepping for a 3-lift powerlifting comp, it is difficult to sometimes push both of them because they're both really heavy. But the way that I'm going to be using the squat is as an assistance or a complementary movement to my deadlift. So I'm going to check the load and the volume. Don't get me wrong, we're still going to have some very heavy sessions, but the volume in total won't be that crazy with the squat itself. But there will be some leg pressing, high volume leg pressing, and isolation work such as the leg extension. And as I said, I've been hitting my hamstrings multiple times per week, a muscle group that I really want to develop more and build some more strength in, obviously to help with my deadlift. So I'm going to hit some more hamstrings on my squat day, and my more, quad day you could say, but when you add hamstrings, it's now leg day, technically. Although I didn't do calves. No, that's boring. I've got enough calf, fine. Here we go. So with the hamstrings though for today, I'm just doing 3 sets of 5 repetitions, not going to failure at all, not going overly heavy, but more focus on strength opposed to the last time I trained hamstrings, which was more hypertrophy. There was more of a tempo, higher repetitions, and a lighter weight. Where today I'm just going to add a little bit more load, but obviously without further adding damage or too much soreness to my hamstrings, because they need to be good to go in a few days' time. So we've got to be smart, right? Not going to go stupid as much as I want to. This is fine. This is fine. Getting some good work through the hamstrings, and it's been a really good session. getting close to the end of it now, but remember guys, make sure, head to my website. Black Friday sale is live until Sunday. It is now Saturday, but it'll stay until Sunday night. So you have at least a full day. Programs, merch, knee wraps, if you've got wrist wraps left, I'm not sure. Whatever's on there, it's 30% off. You're very lucky. You're very lucky. I didn't want to do a sale, but Jesus came down and spoke to me and suggested that I do, and that good things will happen to me. So we'll see. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. Try not to take his word for it, because he's lied before. I don't know. My opinion. But that was a fun session. You know, it was good to get back in there. It was good to train some legs. It's been a little while. Just dealt with some injuries and some niggles and sciatica and some hip pain, stuff like that. But you know, it's time now to get back under a bar and to strengthen everything, because my hips, you know, they weren't feeling as strong. Especially notice that in the deadlift and that power off the floor. They just were lacking that stability that strong hips give you. And those strong hips are generally built through squatting, I believe. Having that control of the hip, being able to use the glutes, use those muscles effectively. When you can do that, it carries over to things like the deadlift, because we're still using the same muscles, not necessarily in the same function, but we're still using the same muscles, and you've got to strengthen them to make you stronger. It's not that complicated, you know what I mean? Like it's not. It's really simple, but that is what it is. Now, my books are open for personalized coaching. So if you want to take your lifting to the next level and you're serious about it, I mean, like you got some goals and you got to make it happen, right? You maybe want to compete. Maybe you've been chasing some certain numbers and you're just struggling. You just can't find your way there. Maybe you want to look a certain way. Maybe you want to feel a certain way and you just can't find yourself getting there. You're missing some ingredients. I got you covered. Send me an email at thecultstrength@gmail.com and I'll get in touch with you as soon as I possibly can. And all my coaching is done on a personalized app. So you'll have tutorials, you'll have your program, you'll have feedback and communication with me on a daily basis as well. So personalized coaching comes with, you know, daily feedback on your training days, which is extremely valuable for being able to apply information to get yourself better quicker. You don't have to wait, you know, a week or a month before we check in. We can do it daily. That's how it goes. But you just send me an email. That's the thing. Now, before you go, make sure you like this video, drop a comment, and subscribe. That would mean the world to me. And we're back tomorrow with a special video. We're going to be talking about how much you should bench. Right? Everyone has the question of, what should I bench? You know, my body weight's this. I'm this age. You know, what's a good bench? I'm going to tell you. And it's maybe not what you think, because this video has been done before, but we're going to do a little bit different because I feel a little bit differently about it. That's just me. Now it's time for you to go to the fucking gym, baby. Let's get it.